And they go back and they're like, you know, getting picked on a little bit, but it's not really that bad. And they're like, you know, but they see how stuff's still bad, even though they learn lessons. You know, the rest of their community is still stupid. So maybe they all just need to trade places, like Eddie Murphy. But they go back to their communities, and things are still the same. Donnell gets in this beef with a rival gang of his brothers, because his brother's in a gang. Donnell's not in a gang. He's trying to get his brother Tay Diggs out of this gang, but he won't leave it because he started a truce. His brother actually incited a truce, and he did all this good stuff for the supposedly good stuff for the community. And just abolish the gang, it'd be even better or whatever. And he gets in this altercation with another gang that's opposing Tay Diggs, but Tay steps in and stops it. He's like, hey, we got a truce, y'all can't be pulling in here, it's neutral territory, yada yada yada. And so they leave him alone. But then it goes back to, this was the funniest part ever. I would have been, if I was Jason. Alright, he takes his girlfriend on a date, and they stop and they go to the ghetto, and she's like, oh, so you just have to make a stop before we go out to dinner. I would have slapped her right then, shut up. But he's like, no, this is where we're eating dinner. And they go to JoJo's. And he cooks up this awesome looking plate of like greens and macaroni and cheese and I think smothered chicken. He had all this good stuff on it. That plate was like this big, you know, as big as my head 3 times. And that's pretty big. And they were full of just, oh man, all this good looking food like mama cooks. And his girlfriend's just all, when she sees the black guy, she's like she saw a vampire. When JoJo walks in, she's like, I thought I was watching Nosferatu or something. She started screaming and everything, and was crying. It was horrible. No, it wasn't that bad, but she's just like, who is this guy? Butler. But I would have punched her right square right in her mouth, and because she was just so stupid, and she was like, she sat there the whole time, just you know, putting on a front for JoJo. Hey, how you doing? And then when he left, she was okay, but she still had this food. And Jason's over there just scarfing this stuff down, and she doesn't touch hers. And when JoJo comes back and asks if everything's alright, she's like, oh, fine. And Jason calls her on it. He's like, you haven't touched it. And she's like, she doesn't say anything, and JoJo's like, hey, let me tell y'all a joke. And he pulls up a chair to sit down. And she says, Jason, we need to go. I have a headache. I would have drop kicked her. I swear, both feet to face, foul, drop kick right over the table. That's just rude, man. Because people judge people when they don't even know people. It's a movie review. Yeah, it's a movie. I mean, it happens. It's a movie. And so he takes her to the car, and he drives her home, tells JoJo bye, and she's like trying to kiss on him and all this, and he's mad, you know, but not as mad as I would have been. And he's like, I thought you had a headache. And she's like, well, and he kind of pushes her back off him, and she's like, if you're gonna choose between me and some guy you just met, or she said, you can't choose between me and some black guy you just met. And he said, I'm not. And I guess that means he's not choosing. He's just gonna go ahead and take the old guy. I think that's what that meant. I'm not. And she gets all mad and storms out of the car. I would have pushed her out of the car going down the street. And he was nice. He let her get out. She would have got thrown out. To the right, everything you own out the window on the right. Should have been done. Hatred, stupid stuff. And so he got rid of old homegirl. She was ugly anyway. She was a dog. And yeah, let me change scenes. Yeah, and this is when, alright, we go back to Donnell. He's with the brat, and she's doing this step dance, and it was the wackest step show I've ever seen. I saw Stomp the Yard. This crap was whack. Stomp the Yard was awesome. And doing some little clap step show, and she's like, "We are the Nubian Queens. Thank y'all. Donations are helpful. Yeah, yeah." And then the crowd disperses, and Donnell comes over, and when he's trying to talk, Donnell's trying to talk her into going out and get a soda with him so she can talk to him, because he tried to give her his number earlier. I forgot to explain that when it hurt stupid. That's how they met on the bus, and but now he's talking to her, telling her she's awesome, and he wants to lay with her, and Jamal Boy shows up with his people, his group, his crew, his gang. They come up, and he's like, "Oh, you see you trying to holler, okay, I'll leave you alone. You two want to ride though? It looks like it's about to rain." They're like, "No, we're good." Donnell's like, "I'm just gonna stay here with her, walking home." So Jamal Boy gets back in his car with these two other dudes, and they drive down the road, and no sooner than they get like right down the road, this big old suburban SUV throwback, it was old, pulls in front of them and fires like 3 rounds, and then they pull off. No, they fire a bunch of rounds, but apparently they're good shots doing like this, because that's how they were shooting, but they killed all 3 of the dudes in the car. Jamal Boy died, yes, Tay Diggs died. And now we're not gonna get to hear any more of his wonderful insight. And Donnell runs over, hugs him, tells him he's gonna get mama for him. They have the funeral, and then after this, Donnell and the brat have their sex scene. And at the beginning of it, they start kissing, and he takes a shot. He's got a condom in his teeth, and it's just funny because I guess they're trying to promote safe sex between 15-year-olds because they both look so young. And I don't know, it was funny. I started cracking up when I saw the he had a little condom between his teeth. Oh man, it was funny. And then the other gang members approached Donnell like the next day about riding on them punk fools, and because they found out who did it. And he's like, "Nah, man, I'm cool. We need to just squash it. They did it, but violence only incites violence. Yada yada. Whatever. I'll just shut him up." But they actually, then there's this dopehead cousin of Jason's that he's trying to reform. He's like, "You need to get off that stuff. You need to get off it. You need to get off it." And he went to his house to tell him this. I guess that's the only reason he went over, because that's what started the conversation, and it ended with the pothead dude pulling a gun and saying he was about to kill himself. And then he pointed at Jason while he was talking to him, and then he put it on him, and it was the weakest, like, "No, stop," I've ever seen in my entire life. Jason died over and grabbed the gun. "Please don't."